Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the Presma Ambidextrous charging handle. Okay, so this is a large, oversized charging handle. I have a sample of two. Basically, I got two of them that I bought back in December, and it's now May. I use these guns basically to train people, and these oversized charging handles are really convenient for, like, if I'm training people, just to be able to lock the gun open. But, like, we're talking about newbies here, right? Yeah, I can lock the guns really open. I have easy way to grab this one-handed and lock the gun open. So these are 9mm ARs, and I generally train like brand new newbies on 9mm ARs. So I've had these on here since December. Now, prior to the Presma ones, I was using the Tri-B ones, okay, which worked great for about, I don't know, about 10,000 rounds, and then, you know, not a bad reflection on the charging handle, but after about 10,000 rounds, it started cracking over here. Now, this isn't because Tri-B makes bad charging handles. This is like mil-spec strength, because I got some other mil-spec charging handles here, and here, this one over here. You can see how I've, you know, again, there's a mil-spec one. You know, you can see how I've cracked it right there. Again, we're talking like very high round counts, and you know, more than 5,000, approaching 10,000. Another one, I couldn't find it right now. I cracked it over here. Another thing that will commonly happen is the roll pin will basically pop out, and then the catch will also fall out. So yeah, again, this is something that happens over thousands of rounds. So AR-15 charging handles, and regardless of that's an AR-9, these are AR-15 mil-spec. I mean, they're designed to be light. Okay, in fact, AR-15s are designed to be light guns and not designed to be indestructible guns. So it's really hard to make the charging handles any stronger, right? Because it has to fit in here, right? And if they try to make the material like thicker, it's not going to fit, right? So they are kind of limited by size if they're using aluminum. If they start using like other metals, you know, they can make it stronger, but now you get into more weight. Okay, so with aluminum charging handles, they're gonna have a limited life. Okay, so that's what to be expected of AR-15s. I usually get about 8,000 rounds on the triggers. Okay, usually the disconnector starts breaking. The trigger group will either jam up on you, where you gotta put the gun, you gotta flip the safety on and off to unstick it, or you'll go like full Monty on you. Okay, so that's very typical of AR-15 triggers once the round counts start approaching 8,000, and I gotta change out the trigger groups. Other thing that will happen with AR-15s, by 8,000 rounds, I will usually break something in the bolt. I'll break either the firing pin, extractor, gas rings, you know, so something is going to break in the bolt by 8,000 rounds. And so it's just, you know, that's just how AR-15s are made. They're designed to be light guns. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about this Presma here. Now, for training myself or training, you know, doing tactical training with people, something beyond just beginner stuff, I don't like the oversized charging handles because they tend to dig into my chest, right? The little pointy part here goes into my chest. Or if I throw this over my back, tighten it down with the fast loop, you know, that can also, I mean, it's not sticking right now, but it can snag on things, right? There's nothing there for it to snag on, but if I had other stuff here, it might snag on stuff. You know, and as far as like retrieving it, again, if you've got stuff, it can snag on stuff. But however, if I'm hanging it across my chest here, yeah, I can definitely feel this sticking into my chest, and that's just like a trade-off. I mean, if you're gonna have an oversized charging handle, you're gonna, you know, that sticks out. You know, this is gonna stick into your body. Okay, so like I said, I have a good use for these for training newbies. But as far as like guns that I personally use, or stuff that I do like more advanced tactical stuff, I come to prefer just the standard um, mil spec charging handles. Right? So let's take a look at this one. I've had it, like I said, since December. It's now May, and yeah, I mean, I've probably got at least a couple of thousand rounds on it. And it looks good. I don't see any cracks. So the reason why I went to Presma instead of Tri-B, because the Tri-Bs were working great. I mean, even though this one has a crack, like I said, this is like 10,000 rounds or so. That's a very decent life for a charging handle. These, I used to be able to get the Tri-Bs for about $25. Now they're closer to $50. So I said, hey, forget it. I saw Presma, Optics Planet. That's where I got the Tri-Bs. That's where I got the Presma. I saw the Presma ones for $25, and I said, let's give these guys a shot and see how they do. So, so far, no problem. I mean, I did actually see some cheaper ones not from Presma, but some other company that were cheaper than $25. But I read through the reviews, and people had reported them breaking. So I said, you know what? Let's not go too cheap. Let's go with this $25. It seems like a good place to be. And yeah, it's been working fine for me. And as far as the spring, it still has a nice tension on the spring over here. I don't see the roll pins coming out. They look like they're pretty solidly in place. All right, you can see it's wearing on this side over here. So normally I'm charging it. Hold on, let's see how. So normally when I'm charging this, if I'm training people, I'll grab it with my left hand. So yeah, as I'm pulling it with my left hand, I'm basically bending it in that direction, and that's why we're seeing the wear on this side as opposed to this side, right? So it's wearing opposite of the hand of the side of the hand that I normally charge this with. And especially with the ambidextrous ones that you're more likely to pull one-handed, they're more likely to break quicker because you're torquing and twisting the charging handle as you're pulling it one-handed. If you're using the traditional ones, right, like these guys here, these are a little harder to pull one-handed. You just don't have enough of a, so with this I tend to go like this. So for that reason, I think these I think last a little bit longer because they get torqued less. Although even with this one, and this is the one that's cracked, so this one's got like 10,000 rounds. Even with this one, you can see how it's worn on the side opposite. Because let's say if I'm holding it with my left hand here, I'm still bending it a little bit towards the right. Right, so if I'm charging like this, it's still pulling on that, and you can see how the paint is coming off on that side versus the other side. Okay, so yeah, pay attention to that. Because I mean, yeah, it's not a big deal if the paint comes off, but over time that's an indication of slowly eating into the metal, which it doesn't look, I mean, I'm looking at it, doesn't look like it's that much thinner. And again, it's just the crack was on this one was way up here. The other one that cracked was like here in the middle. So the wear that we're seeing on here doesn't seem to be a place where, this wear doesn't seem to be really affecting the metal or the strength of this metal. So let's take a look at this other one here. So that's the second AR-9 that I got. Okay, so again, same thing. It's worn on the side opposite, so I'm torquing it a little bit to this side. I do not see any cracks in it. Still has some decent tension there. The roll pins are in place. All right, that's the other thing. Like I said, on one of them, the roll pin fell out. On the mil spec one, right? That was this one here. On this mil spec one, the roll pin. No, actually, it broke the roll pin because I can see that there's a piece of the roll pin still in there. So that roll pin broke. Looking at these, actually, this is interesting. This is something I've never really noticed before. I'm just looking at the size of the roll pins on the that go here on the milk spec ones. They're definitely thinner, smaller compared to the Presma ones. So the Presma ones are yeah, just because they're thicker, they're bigger, they're less likely to break. Now, interesting. I just looked at this Tri-B one. This is the Tri-B one, right? With the little thing. I just noticed that you see the roll pin there. It started creeping out over some 10,000-ish rounds. So these are things to pay attention to. All right. So again, I mean, this guy. You know, I'm not saying anything bad about Tri-B because I got my money. I got 10,000 rounds out of this before it cracked and the roll pins started coming out. But as you run up the round counts, yeah, check it for signs of cracking. Check it to make sure your roll pins aren't coming out. You know, the only reason why I stopped using Presma is because they decided they were going to start charging $50, and I said, you know what, I got another option. Let's try Presma for $25. And so far, it's been working pretty good. That's interesting. I'm just looking at the hook over here. I mean, you can see how that, again, the Tri-B's got like 10,000 rounds over there. So there's a little bit of wear over there on the hook compared to the new one here on the Presma that's like sub 2,000 rounds. So yeah, so pay attention to the hook. That's something that's gonna wear over time. Okay, so yeah, I thought it'd be interesting to show you guys these Presma Ambidextrous charging handles with you know, a decent round count. I mean it's not a lot. It's not in the tens. You know, it's not like it's not approaching 10,000 yet, but it's over 1,000. So that kind of gives you a decent indication of how this thing is going to do. It's doing fine. Just trying to compare thickness. Yeah, it's the same thickness as a Tri-B. Thickness to the mil spec. That's interesting. It's actually slightly, both the Tri-B and the Presma appear to be like slightly thicker than the mil spec ones. So the mil spec ones are just, I mean, I can visually see it with my eye. The mil spec ones are a tad bit thinner, you know, in the metal here, just a tad bit, which is, you know, not by a whole lot, but just a tad bit thinner. But anyway, so that is Presma. Let's get the specs in. So yeah, charging handle is you definitely gotta have extra charging handles. Charging handles, just like trigger groups, just like, you know, the parts in your in the bolt. These are high action parts. So this is something that's constantly being torqued, and locked open, you know, being pulled. This is something that breaks. Okay, charging handle breaks. You gotta have spare charging handles. Okay. Because it's, you know, and you know, if you're going, if it's an SHTF gun, yeah, you want to make sure that, you know, the charging handle, the trigger group, the bolt parts, you know, have less than 5,000 rounds on them. Okay? So drop some comments below. Let me know what you guys think. I'll talk to you soon.